talking about story versus fact. And I to talk to you about this today. So I want you to be thinking about a topic that you would like to get coached on, anything in the world that is coming up for you about stories that you're telling yourself. And you will understand a little bit more about that as I continue through the call. But just be thinking about raising your hand or typing a question in the comments if there's something you would like to get help with today on the call. You can be coached live, or you can put it in the comments anonymously if you would prefer doing it that way. But this call is for you to receive help either directly through coaching, by me coaching you live, or through question and answer in the form. If you want to type your question, I can coach you that way. And everyone else listening can also benefit from your coaching and your questions because all of our brains work alike. So we all have similar thought errors and similar questions and similar problems. So it's really helpful when you speak up, volunteer to get coached or ask questions. It's helpful to everyone. So be thinking about what you would like to get coached on as I start teaching. And anytime you have a question, put it in the comments and I will be happy to address it. I want you to know that this is a safe place for everyone here so you can share openly. We all agree to keep confidences. Obviously, don't share anything too personal or private, but feel free to share, and we all honor and trust each other in this community to keep confidences and honor and keep confidential anything that's shared in this group. So, any questions before I get started? Okay, yes, this is being recorded and it will be available to all of our Joy in Your Journey program members after we get the recording produced. We'll send it out to all of you guys so everyone can watch it at any time if you're not able to participate live. Okay, good question. All right, so let's talk about story versus fact. One of the most important things that I can teach you is that facts don't hurt, okay? The circumstances of our lives have no effect on us until they encounter our mind and we attach meaning to the circumstances in our lives. I want you to think about death, for example. We are not sad about someone dying until our minds register the fact. A person's death, which may have happened several days ago, has no effect on us if we're not aware of it, right? So the event of a death does not affect us until we think thoughts about it, all right? So separate out the facts from the thoughts about a death. It is not accurate to say I was devastated when they died. It's more accurate to say I was devastated by what I thought about their death. I know that might seem silly, like silly semantics don't really matter, but they really do in this situation because the thoughts that we connect with the circumstances really have a big, significant impact on our lives. So I'm going to talk more about that. We control our emotional lives with our thinking. If you think work stresses me out, actually, it's just your thought about your work that stresses you out. Although you might not be able to change your job at this very moment, you can most definitely change the way you think about your job, and that can change everything for you. So Identifying and understanding the patterns of your life are much easier when you have an outside perspective. And that is what I can do for you as your coach. I will give you an outside perspective. I will also teach you skills to help you identify and understand the reasons behind the patterns in your thinking. And it's easy to believe that what you tell yourself is just the truth, the reality of life. But it's just a story that you're telling in your mind. And the story is actually very revealing. It explains why you're doing the things that you are. When you can separate out the facts from the story, it's much easier to see what you're doing and understand why. And when we can uncover and identify the cause and effect of your beliefs or your stories that you're telling in your mind, we can change your life. It's really amazing. That is what I do in coaching. And that's why I'm here to help you. We create our lives mostly in our minds. We often believe our stories so deeply that we think they're facts, and they're not. They're just our thoughts. This is fine as long as the story that you're telling isn't a painful one or isn't one that's causing you problems in your life. But many times the stories that we tell ourselves in our minds are debilitating and painful and unnecessary. So I'm going to illustrate that for you with an example from one of my clients who I was working with recently. She had a situation with her mother-in-law, and basically she said, my mother-in-law doesn't respect me. She doesn't love me. She wants me to be fat. She can't support me and my desires or my dreams. Even when she knows what I want for myself, she's always trying to sabotage me. I don't even want to be around her because of the awful things she does. And the last time we went over to her house for a visit, she was so backhanded and conniving. I know my husband doesn't even care. He doesn't back me up when I feel this way, and he refuses when I suggest that we should confront her and stop visiting her. I'm thinking about giving him an ultimatum. Either it's her or me. He's a grown man and he needs to make his decision. Okay, so this is the thought download or all of the information, the story that I got from my client. Let's look at the situation again, stating only the facts. Now, the facts are provable in a court of law, we like to say, even if it's not a lawsuit, or facts that everyone would agree on in this situation. So I've written them down here. We're going to go over them. Okay, these are the facts. Hopefully you can see that. I think you can. Yeah. Okay. These are the facts. The client has a mother-in-law. That's a fact. It's undisputable. Everyone would agree. The client has a mother-in-law. Second, she went to her house last weekend. That's the fact of the story. They went over. The mother-in-law made spaghetti. We know that's a fact because the client said the mother-in-law made spaghetti. It's undisputable. There was spaghetti at the dinner. Everything else about this story that the client shared with me is her story. That's her thinking. That is not the facts of the situation. Okay. The client's mother-in-law made spaghetti, which the client interpreted as conniving and an attempt to sabotage her weight loss. Is it possible that the spaghetti could have meant something else to the mother-in-law? I want everyone to think about that for just a minute. It's definitely possible that the mother-in-law made spaghetti because she's Italian and that's what she loves to cook. It's her favorite recipe. And That's the truth of the story. So the facts, and you separate out the facts from the story that you're telling yourself, you can realize that the story that you're telling can be a helpful one that helps you feel connected and peaceful and happy with the people in your life, like your mother-in-law, or it can be a painful one that creates anger and hostility and contention. And it's really what you want to believe, right? Either one of these stories could be true. But which one of these stories brings about a more peaceful feeling, a happier, more connected relationship with the mother-in-law? I think the story that the mother-in-law makes spaghetti because she's Italian and it's her favorite dish, that's a better story to live with, right? A better story to believe in and tell yourself that doesn't cause you pain and anger and cause you problems in your marriage, right? Causing your, the client giving her husband an ultimatum and believing that the mother-in-law did some terrible thing deliberately to hurt her, sabotage her diet. It's really just a painful story that she's created in her mind that she believes. It's not true. The truth of the situation is she has a mother-in-law who invited her for dinner, and she went to her home last weekend and the mother-in-law made spaghetti. When you separate out the facts of the story, the facts don't hurt, right? Facts aren't painful. They're just facts. It's our thoughts about the facts that create pain or happiness or peacefulness in our lives, right? I hope everyone is seeing that. All right. Which story served my client's relationship with her mother-in-law and her husband better? Not the first one, right? Not the painful story that the mother-in-law is trying to sabotage her weight loss and she doesn't care about her, right? Those are just painful stories that she is telling herself that are making her unhappy. How does it feel when you leave the facts alone and you don't offer any meaning to the story about the facts? You just read the facts. It's not painful at all. It's okay. It's fine. Actually, when I hear just the facts, I feel like, wow, she's got a great mother-in-law that cooks her dinner and invites her over, right? Everyone can have their own belief about the facts. That's your choice. And that is the best news ever, because your beliefs create your reality. So it's so exciting. That's why I love this work so much, because you can change your beliefs. You can change your thoughts. It takes some practice and it takes some effort, but this is what I can help you with. And it can make all the difference in your life. Okay. So facts never hurt. They don't cause pain. When you learn to separate out the facts from the painful stories in your life, it really helps you see that the stories that you are telling yourself, and it helps you recognize whether you are having painful stories or beliefs that are harming you in some way. We create our pain or our own happiness by how we choose to interpret the facts in our own lives. Okay. In coaching, we call the facts circumstances. These are things outside of our control, right? These include other people, our past, and the weather. Sometimes we forget that we can't control these things. So we expend a lot of our energy trying to control other people or change the past. And as frustrating as this can be, there is good news. While we can't control our circumstances, we can control everything else, including what we decide to think and how we feel and how we behave. And that is the best news ever. That is why I love this work. So, just a reminder, circumstances can be proven in a court of law. They are facts that everyone would agree on at any given time. So, there are no, usually aren't adjectives in circumstances. They are just facts. So if we were to throw in a delicious spaghetti dinner, that would be a thought, right? The delicious part is your idea about it. The fact is the mother-in-law made spaghetti. That's the fact, okay? Many times when we are talking about our life or a situation or an event, we will include very few circumstances, but we may not realize it. We think we're just relaying the facts, but in reality, we are sharing our thoughts about our circumstances. Okay, here's another example that came up with another client recently. So I've been working with a client who's struggling with juggling motherhood every day. And just recently she said, I don't have time for the things that I want to do because I have to take care of my kids. This feels like a fact or a circumstance to her, but it's actually her thought about her circumstance. She does not, in fact, have to take care of her kids. Many people have children and don't take care of them, right? In addition, I don't have time. That's only her perception of time, right? We all have the same amount of time in any given day or week or month, right? We all have the same amount of time. So we can do with our time whatever we choose. There will never be more or less time in a day or a week or a year. The only actual circumstances that the client can identify in her situation is that she has children. It's actually really empowering to see the difference between your thought and your circumstance. And when you realize that you do have a choice, it gives you all of your power back to decide what you want to think about your circumstances. All right. My client has two thoughts that are causing her pain. I just don't have time for things that I want to do, and I have to take care of my kids. Those are her two thoughts about her circumstance of having children. Both of those thoughts are limiting beliefs that are causing her unnecessary pain and suffering. Is there another way that she can think about her life? Yes, obviously, yes. There are tons of other empowering thoughts that she can choose to think to give her more positive feelings about her situation. Would anyone like to offer some alternative thoughts? You can just put it in the comments section if you would like to offer an alternative thought. Okay. Okay. Yes. I am blessed to be a mom, to have kids to take care of. I love it. So true. That's an empowering thought. All right. Another one. They are only little for a time or a season, and one day I will have more time to do other things. Another very empowering thought that my client could choose to think. All right, here's another one. How do I want to use the time that I do have with my little ones to make the most of it? See, here are three alternative thoughts that are empowering and positive that my client could choose to think about her situation rather than, I don't have time to do the things I want because I have to take care of my children. Both of those are limiting and painful thoughts that she's choosing to think. The greatest, I think, realization that you can gain with coaching is that when you really take the time to slow down your thinking, and when you have help from a coach, you can identify the thoughts that you're having in your life about your circumstances that are creating problems for you. And that's the work that you get to do, is working on creating thoughts that are intentional, that are empowering, that you want to have about your circumstances. And it is incredible work. It is the most rewarding thing I've ever done, is help my clients be empowered to create the thoughts that they want in their lives, which creates the feelings and the actions and results that they want in their lives. It's unbelievable and I love it. So I am so excited to share this with you guys today. I love your input with the intentional thoughts. The bottom line is your thoughts can change everything about your life. And that is the best news ever. So we can choose how we want to think and believe about everything that happens in our lives. And this is the work that I do, and I love sharing it with you. So if anyone has any questions for me about stories versus facts, we have a few minutes left that I can answer some questions. Okay, question. If you have painful stories about your life, how can you change them? Okay. This is the work that we do in coaching, as you can see with the two examples that I've given you today. Many times our thoughts are sneaky and they're subtle and they're practiced for many, many years. And it can be difficult for you, without the help of a coach, to identify the painful stories or the false narratives that are running in your mind. So that's what I can do as your coach, is help you to separate your thoughts from the actual facts or circumstances in your life. And painful stories about your life are ones that I can help you identify, and then we work towards changing them. It's not as simple as identifying a painful thought and replacing it with a positive thought. That is not, it's not quite that simple. It takes practice and intentional thinking daily to replace a thought that you've practiced for a long time. And it may even take a bridge thought to get you to the intentional thought that you want to think. And that's a little bit deeper work that we do when we do one-on-one coaching. That's what I can help you with. So I want each of you guys to pay attention to the stories that you're telling in your life and start to separate out the facts from the circumstances and bring it to your coaching calls with me. This is what I love to do for you and help you with, is separate out those painful stories that you're telling in your life from the actual circumstances. And when you start to recognize the difference, you can stop it. You can change it when you start to recognize where those false narratives are coming in, which is the best news ever, because we can change our thinking. So please share your comments and questions with me. You can do it in the Facebook group, Joy in Your Journey program. I love to see you guys and interact with you guys there. Or send me an email. Let me know if this has been helpful to you and what topics you would like for me to address in the future. So thanks so much for joining, everyone. It's been great to be with you here today. And I love you guys so much. I am so proud of you for embarking on this work. It is life-changing and amazing, and it's work. It takes effort, and it takes some real conscious brain power and self-control to change the thoughts, especially ones that you've been believing for a long time. But I'm so proud of all of you guys for the work that you're doing and the results that you're creating in your life. And I love helping you along this journey. So thanks so much for letting me be a part of your journey. And have a great day, y'all. Bye.